Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Adventurer Manager. And since the last episode, I've been doing a ton of grinding to try to raise the levels of my adventurers and raise the overall quality of their equipment. I suffered two devastating losses, the cities of Dwarfia and Halflingia, I believe, were invaded. However, I did stop a couple other invasions, and I've created some new adventuring teams that include all but one of the new classes that we haven't seen before. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that. I guess we can start by setting up some auto adventures. So I want my auto adventures to be doable without full party wipeouts that we experienced in the last episode, but also I want them to yield good results. So we're going to start with a lower level, let's say Toy of Tears, and let's look at our new teams. So first of all, to replace the Team 3 that was destroyed, we have a new Team 3. We have Big Biter, the Giant Warrior. Then we have Makavar, the Elven Monk. We have Saskia, the Dark Elven Shaman, I believe. And we have Drist, the Dark Elven Warlock. So that obviously shows us three new classes, the Monk, the Shaman, and the Warlock. Then we have party number 7, Bloodrune, the Dark Elven Death Knight. Ithik, the Elven Rogue. Avidus Cassius, the Human Cleric. And Norbert Nippleberry, the Gnome. Are you a Warlock? I think you're a Warlock, yes. The Gnome Warlock. So that's introducing the Death Knight for the first time. And then Team 8 is Gale. Gale is the Giant Man Paladin. Miskatonic is the Human Warrior. Cherrynator is the Gnome Shaman. And finally, Raven is our newest class. That is the Enchanter. The Gnome Enchanter. So it says Snooze Fest, even though this is a level 3 adventure and these guys are all level 2, so I'm going to take it at its word and send them out. They're all very good. I mean, I put really good items on all of them, so that's probably why they have a gear score of 4, whereas the recommended gear score is 1. So let's send them out. And then we'll do another, let's do water. And let's get number 7 out. Also a Snooze Fest. They're all at level 5. That's fine. I just want to see how they do on their own. Doesn't bother me any. So we'll send them out. And then for the third one, I think I'm going to go with Pillow 8. And let's take one of our big teams. First of all, let's see who we have right now. Team 1 is now about level 12. And they almost have full strength except for Pie Mouse. That's fine. Team 2, all level 10, but they're pretty much, wow, suicide, really. The gear score really ranks up, doesn't it? In fact, I think this might actually be gear score rather than level. So let's go down to B. Alright, Team 4 is at level 10 now, and they're actually pretty endurance. That's Daikon, Yikli, Liquidor, and King Tip. Team 5 is level 10, except for Koldnar, who's level 9, with a gear score of 6. And Team 6, finally, Ray Joseph, Northern Lizard, Good Bad Adventure, and Soups are around level 9. So we're going to send this team on this. Okay, wonderful. So finally we're going to attempt the Druid Grove again. Recommended gear score 11. I don't think anyone has that. These guys have 8. It's suicide. Oh, man. 10. Level 10, but gear score 5. Gear score 5. So really none of these teams are exceptional in terms of gear score. Well, we could fast forward time and just let these guys do their thing. I don't want to lose any more adventurers. What I have also been doing is I've been training our blacksmith up, having him make basically crap. So I'll go here and I'll say, let's make a jagged ring, and let's make it out of nothing, and I'll forge it like this. Keep forging jagged rings. And then I'll go and salvage it. Like that. And so on and so forth. It's tedious, but it helps. Wow, that's weird. Okay, and we also, he raised his level up to such a degree that he can now create polished things. Or, you can see the 5 here. The wording changes, but it's a higher level, higher quality of item. So we basically just keep him off camera. I'm keeping him training and busy so that he might be able to do good things for us. I've made amulets and rings for everyone. I mean, some are great, some aren't so good. I basically just, you can choose to add gems, but you don't have to. And even if you don't add a gem, it still has what it's supposed to have. For example, if you make an item of purple, it still has 3 pretty decent stat enhancements. All the gems do is guarantee that you will get a certain stat enhancement. So it's more random, but it's just as powerful, and it saves you gems. I haven't really made anything else, though, besides amulets and rings. But I was thinking to raise the gear score up a little bit, I could try his hand at creating something really good. So if we were to send a team, what we really need to do is raise our ability to deflect damage. So that would mean that Pie Mouse and Dwarf Comic would need more Constitution and more Strength. So let's think about that for a minute. Let's go with a polished ring. And let's guarantee Strength. And I think this is Constitution. No, that's Intelligence. Focus. Constitution. Okay, let's just see what he does. It might not be great, but, you know, it'll be something. So 27 Constitution, 26 Strength, gear score of 15. That is fantastic. Let's do another one. And those are my favorite too, really, Constitution and Strength. Gear score 13, a little bit less good, and also gives us some Dexterity, which is useless for all but a rogue. Like, this would be a perfect ring for a rogue, really. And as the strength of the item goes up, the required level of the adventurer goes up as well. So I was thinking of trying something out where I'd take a group of brand new level 1 adventurers and give them all the highest quality equipment, but they have methods for keeping that from happening, which is a shame. Alright, so we have these 2 rings. Let's just see if they actually are an improvement over what these adventurers have. So, Pie Mouse. Oh yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, here we go. Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, Strength, Constitution, Crit Chance. So let's just, well, I mean, we don't have to get rid of this ring. It's fine. We'll just give him this one as well. Now his average gear score went up a little bit, and he's got a lot more powerful. You can pause the screen if you see your guy and look at him while I'm looking for Dwarf Comic. That's fine with me. He's in here, so there he is. Alright, so he has Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, Strength, Constitution. So let's trade out this ring for this ring. He'll lose a little bit of Wisdom, but that's okay. I've really learned a lot about the skills and attributes, so I've been respecking a lot of my guys. You'll notice that each skill has, well, it tells you where it draws from. So, for example, Blessed Strike is based on weapon damage. It's not based on your spell power. Whereas the Holy Strike is also weapon damage. Devout Strike is spell power. So, if you have lower Wisdom but higher Strength, then a Devout Strike is probably not good for you. Plus, it costs 40 energy. So if you have low Wisdom, You really don't want it because you can't afford it. So I just have to be careful, and I've noticed that if you respec, you don't have to do the bottom to do the top. For example, I cannot do any Heavenly Touch, but do 5 Lay on Hands. So it's not like a branch in the traditional sense where you have to do this, this, and this. Once you get to a certain level, you can distribute your points however you'd like them to be distributed. And the passives, by the way, they do take skill selection or skill points, but they don't take skill selections. So you can give points to these without worrying about losing your skill selections. So I've noticed that, on some of my adventurers, even if they are a class that utilizes wisdom, if I don't want to necessarily give them high wisdom, that's okay. I can just have them pick skills that require weapon strength rather than wisdom as its modifier, or spell power typically is the modifier. So there you go. I've automatically increased the strength of these guys substantially. He has a pretty decent amulet, gear score of 6, but we can do better than that. But let's see, what's his lowest gear score? Well, really his ring right here, which is 5. And Pie Mouse, his lowest gear score, 10, is Helm, which is 1. That's a terrible, terrible helm. And this ring, which is 2. So what Pie Mouse needs is a helm. So you can see how I do most of this off camera, but I'm just showing you how I do it in order to maximize the strength of my guys. So we have this. We're going to go with a split helm. We're going to go with... We don't have to do this again, but why not? We'll give him a little bit of strength. And a little bit of constitution. We have an item with gear score 8. It's not super fantastic, as you can see, because we weren't using really high-level gems, but it's better than what he has. So we can go back to Pie Mouse, and we can give him his new helmet. And so now his average gear score is up to 9. So we want a better ring for Pie Mouse, and then for Dwarf Comic we want... Well, Pie Mouse is, or Dwarf Comic's pretty good. I guess we can get a better ring for him. So 2 more rings. And because we're kind of running out of gems... Well, actually, we're running out of everything, so we're not going to do much. That part is done. Alright, so for the next 7 minutes, let's just see how they do. Oh, let's look at our... Let's pay our respects to Hugo, Super Sketchy Guy, Rex Memo, and Haka. As you can see here, I've built the resting, inventory size, adventurer XP, allegiance gain, university training, and gold find. I may have picked some ones that looking back on it, I don't really need, but that's okay. Right now I'm building the magic find, which gives us better weapons. It probably would have been smart for me to do more magic find, and like, for instance, allegiance gain. Yeah, I'm doing okay as it is. I might not necessarily need that, but that's okay. And this, the resting, I thought it would be helpful, but it doesn't seem like it's too helpful. So if I had to mix those two up with magic gain, maybe some more gold gain, it might have had a long-term effect that's better. But not that big a deal. Alright, let's give it a try. Let's begin and throw Team 1 in there. They're still saying it's suicide, which is strange. But they're high level. They are higher gear score. Not as high as recommended, but higher. So at least we'll give it a try. And, oh, there's one other thing I want to tell you, which is I've been training my adventurers wrong in the university. I've been taking them all to auto-adventuring because I know most of them will be auto-adventuring, which is fine. It's certainly beneficial. But what I've been transitioning over to is everyone is getting attributes, which increases every attribute by 5 as just a basic prereq. Everybody's getting that first and foremost because attributes are probably one of the most important and powerful things here. I mean, every adventurer can stand 5 extra constitution, 5 extra strength, or 5 extra focus, which is pretty good for everybody. So that's what I'm doing. And then beyond that, you could train individual stats after that higher if you'd like to. But I'm figuring just at least level 1 in attributes to give everybody a leg up is certainly a good thing. Alright, let's see how it goes with our new and slightly improved party. Rune Beasts and Earth Elementals. We have not seen them yet. So perhaps I haven't spec'd Dwarf Comic out the best, but he can heal 70% of spell power, which actually isn't very high. So Dwarf Comic certainly could use higher spell power than what he has. But this is good. Holy Strike, which is 110% of weapon damage. So that's 179. That's a pretty damaging attack. Now, Pie Mouse, I think what I did wrong with him is he just has too much. Like, you want the Greater Taunt, which gets everyone to attack him, and it also lowers their armor. But then you want Reflect, because it'll reflect their damage back, and then you want Wall to block the damage. But the problem is, this only lasts for 3 rounds, and these two only last for 2 rounds. So, I wish there was a skill that lets you do all 3 at once. That would be amazing. But it doesn't. So the first thing I'm going to try is Greater Taunt. Alright, now Meteor Strike is pretty good. It hits the whole entire enemy party for 64% of spell power, and then deals 12% for every 2 rounds. The problem with it is it's not as dangerous. It hits everybody, which is great, but it's not as dangerous as Flame Strike, which does 150%, 57% of spell power right now, or Fireball, which is 145% of spell power. So I'm actually going to go with Fireball and keep Elena going longer into the battle. And finally, Burnt Saber has Greater Heal, which heals someone for 249% of his spell power. So Burnt Saber I've spec'd to use spell power almost exclusively, which he's paid the price a little bit. Well, no, actually his hit points are actually quite good. Let's see, damage bonus and hit chance. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep Pie Mouse healed. That's Burnt Saber's job. Another Holy Strike. Alright, so now that Pie Mouse has taunted everyone, we have a choice between Wall and Reflect. For right now, because we're pretty good at keeping him healed, and Burnt Saber has enough mana to heal him, I'm going to go with Reflect. Because that'll do some damage to the enemies as well. Now, when Burnt Saber's out of spell power and can no longer heal him, then we'll switch to Wall, obviously, because that'll be more useful at that point. Really? He's still alive? That's crazy. But so now we have a choice. Do I go with Wall, which will reduce damage received by 40%, or do I just Defend, which absorbs 50% of damage and increases energy? I'm going to go with Defend. When you think about it, Wall is actually meant to be used on someone else. You can put Wall on Dwarf Comic or Burnt Saber. So it really kind of corresponds with Defend. See, that seems to be working. It's doing well for us. And now, however, you have a choice, because if you cannot do Defend 2 times in a row, it'll just cancel itself out. So, I can attack with Pie Mouse, that's possible, or I could taunt again. It might have run out by now, I'm not sure. Or I can Wall at this point. I'm going to attack, because these guys seem to be going down fairly easily. And of course I can keep him healed. And the thing to know is that at the end of each battle, you refresh all your spell power. So, what you really got to focus on is hit points. So now, though, I'm going to do my taunt another time. And this keeps the rest of my party safe. So, pretty solid strategy overall. And that was that. Not bad. And Raven completed adventuring in the university. Alright, we're running low on time already, but we'll do one more battle before we call it an episode. Elena sees a bloody glove on the floor. What do you do? Lick it, I guess? Oh, okay. Hit point restored. Not too great, since we all had pretty much max hit points anyway, but I'll take whatever I can get. Okay, So we already know that the Rune Beast isn't that scary. So let's take him out first. Let's actually Flame Strike him, see how much damage that does. Oh, quite a bit. Heal Pie Mouse. And I'm going with minor heal for the most part, because he doesn't really need major heal at this point, and it uses less of Burn Saber's spell power. And now that we've done that, we can reflect. So not bad. And finally, defend. Wow, you would think a fireball would do more damage to a tree. You know, Pie Mouse is doing well. We're just going to attack with Burn Saber for right now. Let him gain some more spell power. Meanwhile, Pie Mouse will wall himself. Oh, that was kind of a waste. I guess you can't wall yourself if you're in defense and have Reflect. So you learn something new every day. Alright, so now he's looking a little beat up. So the question is, with 70 spell power, do I go with minor heal? Or do I go with greater heal? Let's just try greater heal this once, see how much it does. As you can see, quite a bit. Should I retaunt, or should I go back to reflect? Let's reflect. Wise move. Okay. And Elena, unfortunately, is out of juice at this point. Burn Saber is getting there. But I expect that we'll have no trouble finishing this off. Now that we just have an Earth Elemental to deal with. But we can defend. Which in that case was the right choice. That saved us 100 damage worth of Fireball. But now I can't defend again, so let's just go back to taunting. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A properly optimized party actually does quite well, even if the game says that it's suicide. The problem, of course, is that I haven't encountered the Poison Plant, the Imp, or the Greater Earth Elemental, which probably will rock us pretty badly. But for right now, just moving around, killing random mobs, it's a good exercise, and it helps us out. And we can leave and come back and fight the same mobs over again. I won't be doing that on camera, but it's an opportunity to allow my other teams to auto-adventure without necessarily increasing the invasion risk. And if there is an invasion, we'll have time to stop it. So once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.